What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, back with another video. So as y'all probably watching my previous video, I'm react to videos y'all tell me to react to. So next person we react to, their YouTube name is Clutch Bills. Yeah, I know I will put it somewhere of the comment. They say react to King Von Demon from O Block documentary. Oh, and somebody else liked the comment. Okay, that's what we react to. King Von Demon from documentary. Let's go. I don't know if I should react to the whole thing. Y'all know what? I'm gonna start reacting to it, and if I really like the documentary, I'm gonna just react to the whole entire thing. So let's get started. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and keep telling me what videos you guys want me to react to. Okay. October 27th.
2021. Alright, damn, I'm trying to, everybody go up to another notch. I did out of touch base like a little.
Before we start, I don't really listen to King Von. I heard 2 or 3 of his songs with people he collab with. Like, I listen to songs that he collab with other people, but not personally, just him alone. So if there's like any music you guys want me to react to of him, I will. I first heard of King Von because of a documentary I watch. I watch a lot of documentaries, so if y'all want me to watch a documentary, let me know down below in the comment section. So that's when I first heard of King Von. So yeah, let's go.
Like the family shit. Now I'm trying to help the community. Now I'm trying to get places like this about little daycares and just anything to generate money and make the community better. Now I got a lot of friends. It's now my auntie next in line. Now you see what I'm saying? And then my friends, and I got kids now. You see what I'm saying? So it never stops. Like they giving it and help you, it don't stop. You just gotta keep getting more money. As long as you got money, it ain't gonna be no problem. You see what I'm saying? I just gotta keep having money.
November 6, 2020.
A rapper who is among those who were shot and killed in a gun battle in downtown Atlanta.
A total of 6 people were shot. 3 have died. One of them, a rapper Davon Bennett, who goes by the stage name King Von.
No, commercial. It's commercial, y'all.
Aired onto a website.
The streets of Southside Chicago has been riddled with violence for quite some time now. Throughout all that violence, though, there were diamonds in the rough with immense amount of talent in hip-hop, specifically in a location now known to the world as O Block. The people living there might have known.
Give me a second, y'all. So my screen recording stopped. So I'm back.
Specifically in a location now known to the world as O Block. The people living there might have known of O Block for quite some time, but the world didn't until Chief Keef, Lil Durk, Fredo Santana, Lil Reese, and many more started to blow up. And as time went on, more and more artists.
I only listen to Lil Durk. I don't listen to Chief Keef anymore. Lil Reese. I never even got into even liking his songs.
Started blowing up from that area, and Chicago finally once again became a big staple in hip-hop. And just recently, an artist by the name of King Von has started to blow up from that exact area. Through his unique flows and his insane street storytelling abilities, he was just another superstar from O Block, ready to take off. King Von was born Davon Bennett on August 9th, 1994, and he was born on Parkway Gardens, also known as O Block, located specifically on the 64th Street on King Drive in the south side of Chicago.
Why is it that every Martin Luther King Drive is like the one of the dangerous and baddest place ever? Like, I never heard of one good Martin Luther King Drive that the place is like really. Let me know why every Martin Luther King Drive is the dangerous and the roughest neighborhood. Let me know.
Chicago. He was raised in a broken home with divorced parents. He never saw his mom and biological father together. His father ended up serving time in prison, and when he got out is when he officially met his father, but he was only roughly 8 years old, so he doesn't really remember it. Then a couple months later, after meeting him, his father was killed. Despite that, King Von ended up getting good grades in school, whether it was through elementary and through middle school. However, around middle school is when King Von says he started getting involved in the street life, because when he got out of school, he was bored and decided to explore the streets with his friends. And around middle school is when he officially met Lil Durk, and they started to hang out as close friends.
Don't nobody really know when they started being bad. That shit was really regular. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just woke up one day, I was bad as hell. I don't know what the fuck I was just getting good A's and B's.
It's just your product of
School,
environment.
you see what I'm saying? School over here with the nice teaching and nice people, all that. All right, so now I'm going off they from that. Since they nice and being, productive and all, I'm doing my work, I'm in school. But now I'm out of school with the people that ain't doing shit, but on the streets, all they know is being loud, mean, bad, selling drugs, doing this and that. So now I'm around them, now, my environment shit, I'm adapted to that shit.
As time went on, while being out in the streets, King Von said that he never joined a gang. Instead, he was forced to be in a gang, which would end up being the BD's Black Disciples. And the reason why he says he was forced to be in the gang is because of the environment he grew up in. If you weren't associated with the gang, you would end up getting beat up every single day and robbed. So you had to be associated with the gang for protection and just for peace of mind.
Facts. That's true. Because growing up in a rough neighborhood where there's violence, drugs, you become the product of your environment and you join these gangs as a survive, like, because if you're growing up, you telling yourself, at this age, I might not see me be 18, 20, 30. Like, you're not thinking about, oh, I'ma live to see this day. I'ma live to be this old.
I ain't enjoying one. It's just like, since I'm over here, you see what I'm saying? You is where you at. Like, if you would have been born where I'm at, you would have had to been gangbanging.
And it's not just Chicago. It's certain, most states.
Just because that's what it is. Or you ain't going outside.
And with that lifestyle, obviously came trouble. And the first time King Von got arrested was when he was a young teenager. He got put into juvenile for allegedly armed robbery of a vehicle, and since he was so young, they gave him the option of boot camp. He took that immediately and got out pretty quickly. While his friend Lil Durk was rising in the music scene and becoming a star, he would end up getting into more trouble. And on November 21st, 2012, King Von was arrested and booked in Cook County Jail for unlawful possession of a firearm. And at this point, King Von says he dropped out of high school, which would be his junior year in high school.
Wait, pause, hold up. You dropped out your junior year? Like your junior year, like you got you got another year of being done with school and getting your diploma. Because like when you dropped out, then you gotta go back. Some people who drop out go back and get their GED and things like that. But it's like much easier. Like I understand most people don't like school, listening to teachers, and it's much easier to just get your GED and get it out the way. I understand. But just dropping out junior year, I would just hold on for a whole nother year and try to get my diploma.
High school. And without being in school, he devoted himself to the streets fully. And by the time he hit 19, he caught a huge case that potentially could have gave him life in prison at the age of 19. This was a shooting that occurred on May 29th in 2014. Then on July 24th, 2014, he got booked and charged with first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. King Von ended up spending 3.5 years trying to fight this case, and while being in prison, he didn't waste any time being in there. He ended up getting his GED, and on top of that, he ended up writing his own music for the first time ever because he was planning on beating this case, getting out, and focusing on music like Lil Durk had told him to.
And then they charged me, the case I just got out for first degree murder and 2 attempt murders. They charged me with that shit. I beat that. I'll get to that shit.
While in prison too, he ended up getting a cell room with an 80-year-old man, and he would end up taking care of him throughout his whole prison bid. He would push him in his wheelchair. He would remind him to take out his dentures when he went to sleep. And of course, this old guy ended up calling him grandson, and he also got the name grandson because of how he was carrying himself in prison. He was showing respect. He was showing he was a leader in the BD thing.
It be old men like they put you in the cell with like 7. They put me in the cell like that I gotta help him I gotta push him in the wheelchair. They put me in there with a nigga that nah, for real, like I'm in a cell with a nigga that's 80. I gotta take him to lunch. I'm in a joint. I don't even know this man, but he in my cell. I gotta take this man because we gonna leave this old man there. He's stinking, he loud, he got his dentures in, he be chewing his dentures. He supposed to take them out when he go to sleep, so I'm, school, take your dentures out, man. I'm in jail when he sounds saying, but I'm his grandson. Cause
so you dangerous, but you got a hell of a heart.
Man, you know you gotta that shit though, man. You gotta look out for your people, man. You gotta look out for your people who look out for you. You see what I'm saying?
After 3.5 years, he finally beat the case due to lack of evidence towards him. He finally got out, and at this point, he was 23 years old. And with all this time passed, he saw that his close friend, Lil Durk, was a superstar in hip-hop, and he decided that he needed to do something to get income that was legal, so he wanted to get into music. And Lil Durk encouraged that. He flew him out to Atlanta where he could focus solely on the music, and this is when he started officially recording music. It was towards mid-2018.
Like I've been with him his whole journey in jail. And I ain't gonna lie, like he ain't never say nothing about rapping.
How'd y'all meet?
Now we grew up together. So then when he got out, he just tried rapping. And like his first song just like went super crazy.
Big shout out to Swagbucks for sponsoring today's video. If you don't know, Swagbucks is an easy way to earn cash and gift cards. And Durk taught him how to write tracks, and eventually he came up with the track Crazy Story. And when he released this track,
see, that's the type of friend you need by your side to help you out no matter what is going on in your life. You needed that friend to have your back to help you out.
in December of 2018, everyone was going crazy at the crazy storytelling ability of this track, and it was something completely different with multiple flows.
We made Crazy Story in my house. Like, he ain't know how to write a song, none of that shit. So we had put cat in that shit like 2 minutes.
He kept recording music and eventually released Crazy Story Part 2 with Lil Durk and Crazy Story Part 3. And by this time, Lil Durk officially signed him to his label, OTF, and Durk brought King Von to all of his interviews to show him the ropes of how to do things as an artist. King Von also opened up a lot of shows for
Y'all need a friend like this.
Performed solo in quite a few
Y'all need a
cities.
friend like Lil Durk. Y'all need a friend like Lil Durk who's helping.
From this, he got a lot of money, and one of the first things he did when he got $100,000 was go straight back to his old neighborhood in O Block and give back to the people. He was very weary about trying to help his neighborhood, whether it's building daycares for children trying to give back to his community so it can be a better place. He did that multiple times. It wasn't just one time where he gave $100,000. It was quite a few times. However, King Von would run
What is
into more
Asian doing in
legal
this
trouble,
video?
and this time it would be with Lil Durk. On February 5th, 2019, Lil Durk and King Von allegedly shot at somebody in Midtown Atlanta where they robbed someone for $30,000 and more. This victim was shot and nearly died, and there were cameras there that caught the incident. So on June 2019, Lil Durk and King Von had to turn themselves in.
The rapper, whose real name is Dirk Banks, turned himself in at the Fulton County Jail earlier tonight. Police say he shot a man outside the Midtown Atlanta restaurant back in February.
Then Lil Durk's lawyer immediately worked to get bonds set for Lil Durk and King Von because they had no bond available at that time. The lawyer got to work and got the bond set. Lil Durk was released on June 21st, 2019 on $250,000 bond. Then just a couple days later, King Von was released on a $300,000 bond. Then immediately after that, King Von started focusing on the music once again. And as time went on in 2019, he started to learn how to become an artist, how to conduct interviews, and how to write tracks in full form from hook to verse. Then he finally dropped his debut mixtape on September 20th, 2019, called Grandson Volume 1. And this mixtape was released independently despite being signed to Lil Durk's Only the Family. It was only distributed by Empire Records, and it ended up peaking at number 75 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 37 on the US R&B and hip hop charts. And the reception once again was amazing. He just kept growing his name in the music industry, and as time went on, he started gearing up to drop his second mixtape. The first single he dropped off his second mixtape was called 2 AM on November 16th, 2019.
And another commercial. This is a non-skip commercial, really. I'm really enjoying this documentary.
Just a couple weeks later, he dropped the second single, Rollin', on November 29th, 2019. Then on February 21st, 2020, he dropped the third single, Took Her to the O, and this is one of the singles that caught a lot of heat and became one of his biggest records. And this song to date, as of the making of this video, is his highest charting song on the Billboard Hot 100. It peaked at number 47, and on the US R&B and hip hop charts, it peaked at number 14. Then on March 6, 2020, he dropped his second official mixtape called LeVon James, which is a wordplay of his favorite basketball player, LeBron James. And this mixtape, it debuted a lot higher than his first one. It peaked at number 63 on the Billboard 200 and peaked at number 36 on the top R&B and hip-hop albums. With the success of the music, King Von was focused heavily on the music, but he still had a couple of beefs going on, whether it was in the streets or in the music industry. The street beef that he had was with his ops, FBG Duck, who was with the GDs, and King Von was with the BDs, who was on the opposite side, so they had a bunch of street beef. FBG Duck was best friends with a kid named Tuka. Tuka was murdered at the age of 15, and rappers that were part of the BDs, which was the ops, would make fun of Tuka's death, saying things like, "We're smoking on that Tuka," and King Von would actually do that in a couple of his tracks, such as All These Guys featuring Lil Durk. And of course, FBG Duck, being best friends with Tuka, did not like that, so King Von ended up inheriting that beef from the streets. FBG Duck even released a diss track towards King Von called I'm From 63rd. King Von would respond by saying it's trash. The other beefs that King Von had were...
It is so funny how it's so funny how 63rd, 64 is so close to each other. Like, why does these gangs be so close next to each other and they have the most beef? Like, you would expect these gangs, they're on the whole other side of this part, on the whole, no, they're on this side, this, like they're right next, smack that, right next to each other, and they have beef with each other. You would think they're far apart. They're right there. They're not far from each other.
Were more industry driven. One was with famous Dex and the other was with 6ix9ine. Despite all this, he kept focused on.
I just realized why famous Dex and Tekashi 6ix9ine, they both have colorful hair.
The music, and he was gearing up to finally drop his debut album. The first single he dropped off the album was called All These Hitters, featuring Lil Durk, and this was released on August 5th, 2020. And this track peaked at number 77 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 31 on the US R&B and hip hop charts. Following this, he dropped the second single off the album called How It Go on August 28th, 2020. Then on October 5th, 2020, he went on Instagram and announced his debut album, Welcome to Old Block, would be released on October 9th, 2020. But when October 9th came, King Von said he had to push the album back and instead released the third single off the album called I Am What I Am, featuring 5 Foreign. Then he revealed the album would be released on October 30th, 2020, but before the album came out, he dropped one more single called Galicia Place on October 23rd. Then finally, on October 30th, 2020, King Von drops his debut album, Welcome to Old Block. The album debuts at number 14 and sold 25,000 copies within its first week. King Von, however, would never get a chance to see the first week numbers of his debut album because on November 6th, 2020, King Von would end up getting killed due to an altercation at an Atlanta hookah lounge. King Von that night was out and about promoting his debut album. He had scheduled an album release party at Atlanta's Opium Club on Thursday, November 5th that night, and everything was going fine. King Von's manager says that after the album release party, they were all scheduled to go back to the hotel and sleep. However, Von's manager says that King Von was off that night for some reason. After the album release party, they all went back to their vehicles and started heading back to the hotel like.
If somebody's acting very off, you know something is wrong with them. You don't let them out your sight. You make sure you watch them, because anything could happen. And look what happened. When somebody is off and completely acting different from normal, you know something is wrong. And they feeling something that you might not understand.
Planned, but King Von's manager says that King Von decided randomly to take a different turn and go to an after-party club. Von hopped in his security bulletproof truck with 2 other people and the driver and randomly decided to go to that after-party club. Once they got there, they realized none of the other people were there, so Von's DJ called and said, "Where are you guys at?" And that's when they realized that Von decided to go into an after-party club and not go back to the hotel. So after King Von's team finally came to the after-party club where King Von was at, they said that King Von was staying in his bulletproof truck for 30 to 35 minutes, not going into the club at all. King Von's friends decided to go back into their vehicles because it was really cold out that night and they were wondering, what is King Von doing? King Von's manager then comes into the passenger side of King Von's security bulletproof truck and asks him, "Why is it taking forever for you to go inside? Let's go." He then says, "Let's go." His security then checks the building inside and out to see if there's a threat. Now, King Von's manager says that they couldn't bring in guns to the club because it's a security risk, so all the security and everyone else who had weapons had to put it back in the vehicle. Von's manager says that one of King Von's friends came to the driver's side of King Von's vehicle and told King Von that Quando Rondo pulled up to the Atlanta after-party club, and he said that Quando Rondo was essentially lacking, meaning he didn't.
I ain't gonna lie, I do listen to Quando Rondo, but recently I haven't been listening to him. I don't know why, but I just haven't.
Have anyone around him. It was just Quando Rondo and a driver. And Von's manager says that right when King Von heard that, he immediately got out the car and went at Quando Rondo and started fighting him. And everyone at this time was genuinely confused at what was going on. Nobody in each camp was even prepared. Then a white car pulled up and King Von's team had no idea who that white car was affiliated with. Out the car came Lil Tim, which was Quando Rondo's friend. He comes from the backside of King Von and shoots him multiple times. King Von's manager says that Lil Tim let off 5 to 6 shots. 2 of the bullets hit King.
I don't know why people nowadays, now in this society where everybody is just shooting people, like what happened to sitting down and talking things out? What happened to actually fighting with your hands and getting over the problem with it? What happened to that? Y'all are so quick to resolve problems and beef by just shooting the person and killing them. You shooting and taking somebody's life, and then you're about to go be locked up. Your life is done with too.
Von, one hit him in the torso, one hit him in the thigh. One of the bullets hit King Von's manager, and King Von's manager says that King Von was using Quando Rondo as a shield while he was getting shot at. And when this happens, all hell breaks loose even more. The police that were guarding the area that night decided to get involved in the altercation and started shooting randomly at basically everyone there. And that's when everyone started scattering around. People were running back inside the club hoping they wouldn't get hit. And once things settled down, King Von's team went immediately to King Von, got him and put him in the back of their vehicle and drove him to the hospital. Apparently Quando Rondo was yelling out that King Von got shot, so his team heard that and ran towards him to help him out. His team ended up putting him in the back of a vehicle. They drove off to the Grady Hospital in Atlanta, and apparently King Von was conscious the whole time, telling the people in the car to calm down and relax and that he's going to be okay, because everyone in the car was panicking about what just happened. They drove him to the Grady Hospital in Atlanta and immediately started performing surgery on him, but during the surgery process, he didn't make it. When the news officially came out, it was reported that King Von was in critical condition and that he was shot by the Atlanta Police Department. But as time went on, we realized obviously this wasn't the case. In the afternoon of November 6, 2020, it was officially announced that King Von had passed away at the age of 26. It was also reported that someone else had passed away as well, and 4 other people were injured, including King Von's manager and Lil Tim, who was the one who shot King Von. A couple days went on, and Lil Tim was officially charged with the murder of King Von. And as time went on, more security footage came.
What was his charge? I want to know what he got charged with. If he got charged with life.
Out. And Quando Rondo's team and lawyers are now saying they are practicing self-defense in this incident. And in Georgia, we have a stand your ground law. And that means that if your life is in danger at any moment, you have a right to defend yourself, whether you shoot at them or kill them. After this, there were a lot of rumors as to why Quando Rondo and King Von got into it. There were rumors that it's because NBA Youngboy and King Von were dating the same type of female, but King Von's manager denied that. King Von's manager denied actually a lot of rumors that were going around, and all these are false. They're just claims from media sources that don't have any sources. King Von's manager, however, did say that King Von went on Instagram Live quite a few times and said that he would put hands on Quando Rondo and his team, and he never mentioned that he would use weapons if he ran into them. And of course, after
Another ad.
I have a challenge.
For King Von's passing, his album saw a huge uptick in sales the following week. The album ended up rising to number 5 on the Billboard 200 charts and sold 41,000 copies that following week. King Von's family and management company have released a statement about...
Before we get to that statement, why is it every time someone get killed, their music, they get more music sales than before? Like, let me know the real reason, because half of these people who never be listening to these people, just randomly be listening to these people, soon as they get killed, why their numbers go up like that? But when they were alive, their numbers were doing okay. But y'all explain that to me.
How they're going to move forward with King Von's remaining music. They said, "Thank you to everyone who has showed their outpouring of love for King Von. You all played a massive role in Von's accomplishments, and by continuing to play his music and sharing your stories about how he has inspired and influenced you all, you're keeping his legacy alive. To celebrate Von's artistry, vision, and the immense love that he had for his fans, we will be continuing his rollout of Welcome
How
to
many
O
kids
Block
he has?
while
Do he
working
have
to
one or
share
two kids?
unreleased music and interviews that he devoted his creativity into completing. Von had also been working on new endeavors that we will be announcing down the line. Love, Von's family and team." Von had plans of putting on all the people around him. He was actually going to get most of the people around him signed to a record deal and have them have $50,000 in their pocket. He's gone back to O Block and given back $100,000 quite a few times, and he had plans to open up daycares in O Block and just improve the community over there. I only say that to say this: King Von was often painted by the media as this demon person who didn't care about anyone at all.
Because like the neighborhood you grew up in, the environment you grew up in, people see you and the activities you're doing, people quickly assume, oh, they quickly dismiss you and say, I ain't messing with you, no, you on the wrong path, you're dangerous, you this, you that, da 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 da. But people don't ever really get to know you, because it seems like King Von is a really nice person and a general y'all, it's late and I cannot pronounce this word right. Yeah, I know the word I'm trying to say. Person. And sometimes some people used to call me cold-hearted. I'm cold-hearted. I don't have no emotional feelings, but it's just how I grew up. Environment. Even though I'm a very sweet, loving person, I'm not gonna just show that to any and everybody.
And days before King Von passed, he did an interview where he explained how upset he was at YouTubers or the media in general that were painting him in such a negative light. Now, I'm not saying King Von was the most perfect human being, but we must remember that King Von is just a product of his environment. Any one of us watching this video right now, even me, the one who created it, if we were put in an environment where every day was killing and every day was poverty and every day was struggling, you yourself would turn into a savage, because that's the only thing you can do to defend yourself in that environment. Von himself in interviews has said he wishes his mother was born in a better environment because he would have turned out a lot better as well, but he says he was dealt.
But people are put in environments for a reason.
The cards that he was dealt with, and this is how his life turned out.
It ain't squash it. No, I wish it never happened in the first place. Like,
right.
I wish a lot of shit ain't never happened. You know, of course you wish your homie never got killed, of course. But you know,
because you in a different space in life right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it'd have been. I wish I never grew up in the projects. I wish a lot of shit. I wish my mama had some money when I was like, a lot of shit. If I could wish a lot of shit would be different, but it just happened like that.
And he tried to make the best of it. He was improving. He was trying to improve his community that he grew up in. He was trying to put on his friends. And unfortunately, he didn't get the best chance to do that. His life was cut short at the young age of 26. And while working on this documentary, I ran into a Tupac interview that is over 25 years old and still is true to this day.
You hear a lot of controversy going on right now about rap. Just Time Warner dropping Interscope and a lot of things that have resulted from people saying it's a bad image, it's bad for young people. Tell us your comments on that.
I said so many comments on this, but basically it's a hypocritical view. Because what you're saying is it's okay for us to live in the dirt, in the gutter, in less than human conditions, but it's not okay for us to tell people that we're living in these conditions. Everything was cool, you know. The ghetto was okay. It was habitable until we started talking about exactly what were the repercussions of living this type of lifestyle. What happens when you live in this kind of environment? What type of person it changes you into? Now all of a sudden it's like you can't talk about that. But this is what we live in. We don't have a choice. You know what I mean? It's either we really kill people, do dope, sell dope, and have murders and do all this crazy stuff, or we talk about.
With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this documentary, and long live King Von.
I really watched the whole entire thing. This was a great documentary. That was a great documentary. I really enjoyed it. I ain't gonna talk too long. Just, that was a great documentary. Like, that was very interesting. So that was King Von, the Demon from O Block documentary. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, put on that post notification bell, and see you guys in the next video.